Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. What if success didn't mean stepping onto the stage, networking until your voice goes hoarse, or constantly being on? What if greatness wasn't about who shouts the loudest, but who listens the deepest? In a world that rewards extroversion, where open offices buzz with chatter and hustle is a badge of honor, there exists a quiet revolution, led by those who thrive in stillness, find power in solitude, and need a moment to just breathe in the bathroom before walking into a meeting. This is not a book about changing who you are. It's about owning who you are, flaws, fears, anxiety, and all, and rewriting the rules of modern success for people who don't feel at home in the spotlight. Hiding in the bathroom isn't just a catchy title. It's a lifeline. It's for the introverts, the socially anxious, the high achievers who've learned to fake confidence in a loud world but are secretly drowning inside. Through candid stories, refreshing honesty, and smart strategies, Morra Aarons-Mele, self-proclaimed hermit entrepreneur, guides us through a new roadmap, one that says, you can make an impact without selling your soul to extroversion. You can build an empire without burning out. You can be ambitious, anxious, and authentic, all at the same time. So, if you've ever smiled through panic, dodged a phone call like a ninja, or prayed for the sweet escape of your bathroom sanctuary, this book is your permission slip to stop pretending, to stop apologizing, and to start designing success on your terms. Because guess what? You don't have to be loud to be heard. You don't have to show up everywhere to be seen, and you sure as hell don't have to fake it to make it. Your quiet is not a weakness, it's your superpower. Part 1. The Hidden Struggle of the Successful Introvert. Chapter 1. The Myth of Having It All. We live in a world that celebrates hustle culture. The louder you are, the further you go. At least, that's what we're told. Extroverts seem to thrive in this landscape. Networking events, conferences, lunch meetings, nonstop pitches. But what if just the idea of walking into a room full of strangers makes your heart race? That's where Morra Aarons-Mele begins, challenging the assumption that success is only for the bold and brazen. Morra opens up about her own life. A Harvard grad, successful entrepreneur, and political digital strategist who often had panic attacks before major events. She was living a big life while craving smallness. This book is not about fixing introversion. It's about owning it. Morra introduces the central promise of the book. You can design a successful life that doesn't require selling your soul or your sanity to the extrovert ideal. Chapter 2. Anxiety as a Secret Superpower. Morra doesn't sugarcoat it. Anxiety can be brutal. She talks candidly about waking up with dread before public appearances and craving the quiet safety of her bathroom during high-stakes meetings, hence the book's title. But here's the twist. Anxiety isn't the enemy. It's a message. For many introverts and socially anxious achievers, anxiety is a signal, one that says, you need to do this differently. Instead of powering through and burning out, Morra advocates for self-knowledge as strategy. Learn what triggers you, then build workarounds. Here, she introduces a game-changing idea. You don't have to be fearless to succeed. You just need a strategy that honors your nature. Chapter 3. The New Definition of Success. What if success didn't mean bigger, louder, and always on? Morra redefines success through an introvert's lens. Her version is intimate, intentional, and deeply aligned with personal energy management. She describes success as enoughness. Enough clients, enough visibility, enough income to feel secure, and enough freedom to hide in the bathroom when needed. This reframe is radical in a world of hustle and growth at all costs, and for introverts, it's incredibly empowering. Instead of working towards someone else's version of success, what if you crafted your own, based on what actually works for your brain, body, and bandwidth? Chapter 4. The Hidden Epidemic of Overwhelm. In this chapter, Morra peels back the curtain on the hidden epidemic among successful professionals, especially women, who are quietly drowning in social overload. From corporate boardrooms to solo entrepreneurs, many people are secretly exhausted by the pressure to always show up. We learn that hiding in the bathroom is not weakness, it's self-preservation. Morra offers listeners a new vocabulary: strategic hiding, selective vulnerability, and quiet hustle. These are the tools of the new introverted professional. She shares examples of real people, founders, creatives, and consultants who've designed their work lives to fit their nervous systems. It's possible, it's real, and it's working. Part 2. Designing work that doesn't drain you. Chapter 5. Build a fortress of solitude, aka your ideal work environment. Let's start with a game-changing concept. You don't need to fix your environment, just design it better. Morra calls it creating your fortress of solitude. This means building your workflow around your energy, not around other people's expectations. Forget the open office floor plans, forget the 9-to-5 hustle. Introverts and the socially anxious thrive with space, mental, physical, and emotional. For Morra, that meant working from home long before remote work was mainstream. It wasn't about laziness, it was about control, calm, and clarity. She encourages us to think. What environments drain you? What situations make you feel grounded and focused? Then she drops a golden nugget. Success comes when you structure your work life to meet your needs first, not last. The fortress isn't hiding, it's strategy. Chapter 6. Network like an introvert and actually enjoy it. Here's where Morra starts dismantling the lie that you have to be a cocktail hour superstar to succeed. She admits traditional networking, handshakes, small talk, standing under fluorescent lights, eating tiny cheese cubes, is an introvert's nightmare. But here's the good news. That kind of networking is overrated. Instead, she proposes slow, meaningful networking, building one-on-one, real relationships over time. Less about quantity, more about trust. And you can do most of it from your laptop. Email someone you admire, follow up after a webinar, send a DM to someone whose work moved you, ask questions, offer value. Be real. Morra calls this hiding while connecting. It's about owning your strengths, deep thinking, great writing, authentic communication, and using those to build your network. This chapter feels like a breath of fresh air because for once, introverts are told, you're not doing it wrong, you're just doing it differently. And that's powerful. Chapter 7. Visibility without the vulnerability hangover. Now we get into the tough stuff. Putting yourself out there. Morra knows the struggle. Visibility brings opportunity, but also vulnerability. Sharing your work, your ideas, even your face on social media can lead to anxiety spirals, imposter syndrome, and the infamous vulnerability hangover. But instead of telling us to just be brave, she gives tools. Choose platforms that feel safe. Don't like video? Focus on writing. Pre-record content so you're not always on. Batch create so you can disappear without disappearing. And here's the kicker. Visibility doesn't mean constant exposure. It means strategic presence. You don't need to post every day. You don't need to say yes to every interview or panel. Choose your moments, prepare well, and recover in your bathroom afterward if you need to. It's not hiding. It's honoring your bandwidth. Chapter 8. Set boundaries like a boss, without burning bridges. This chapter is all about the sacred art of saying no. Morra shares a truth bomb. Your calendar is a mirror of your self-worth. She shows how many introverts say yes out of guilt, obligation, or fear of missing out, only to feel resentful and depleted afterward. The fix, boundaries, real ones, she teaches. Scripts for saying no kindly and clearly. How to set office hours, even if you're self-employed. Why declining coffee dates can protect your mental health. She also talks about boundary guilt, especially for women, but she reframes it as self-leadership. Saying no isn't selfish. It's how you show up fully when it really matters. Part 3. Designing a life that actually feels good. Chapter 9. The myth of work-life balance and what actually works. Let's talk about a phrase that's been haunting us for years. Work-life balance. Morra calls it what it is, a myth, especially for introverts and people with anxiety. The balance isn't a perfect 50-50. It's more like a puzzle, one you design intentionally, piece by piece. She shares her own journey of trying to have it all, being a mom, running a company, speaking, staying visible, and still feeling like she was falling short. Her wake-up call came when she realized this wasn't balance, it was burnout in a sparkly dress. So what works? Not balance, but boundaries and intention. Morra challenges listeners to think about what matters most, really. What drains you consistently, and can it go? Can you stop trying to be good at everything and choose what you're great at? She emphasizes building a sustainable schedule, not a packed one. It's okay if your life looks smaller on the outside. If it feels rich, calm, and meaningful to you, you're doing it right. Chapter 10. Fear. failure, and the power of planning ahead. Here's the truth. Many introverts are high-functioning anxious achievers. Fear isn't just an occasional emotion. It's baked into our success stories. Morra dives into how fear manifests. Fear of failure, of being judged, of letting people down, and the worst one, the fear of being found out as not enough. But rather than trying to conquer fear, Morra teaches us to plan around it. She shares her signature tactic. Anticipate the crash. For every big event, pitch, or launch, she builds in recovery time, solitude, and comfort, not because she's weak, but because she's smart. Here's one brilliant line. You can be terrified and still be prepared. Fear doesn't disqualify you. It just needs a seatbelt. This chapter reframes fear as something you can work with, not run from. And when you do, you build a life where fear doesn't rule your choices. Chapter 11. Managing mental health while staying ambitious. Morra doesn't hide from the hard stuff. This is one of the most vulnerable and powerful parts of the book. She opens up about her own mental health struggles, including clinical anxiety and depression, and she's clear. Success and struggle can exist side by side. You can be thriving in your career and needing medication, therapy, and lots of alone time, and there's no shame in any of it. In fact, she says, taking care of your mental health is your one career strategy. She shares tools that work. For her, medication and therapy, a strict sleep schedule, limiting emotional labor tasks, knowing her triggers, and walking away early. Chapter 12. The Power of Small, Happy Things. This chapter is like a warm blanket after a tough day. Morra wraps up the emotional heaviness with something gentle, simple, and healing, rituals, routines, and joy. She talks about the small things that give her peace: hot tea, podcasts, a quiet walk, 10 minutes with a book, and how building these into her daily life has changed everything, not as a reward, but as part of the work. This isn't fluff, it's strategy, because for people who live in their heads and hearts, those tiny moments of peace, they keep us going. And then, Morra delivers a beautiful reminder. You don't have to go big to build a beautiful life. You just have to go home to yourself, over and over again. Part 4. Redefining success, quietly, powerfully, and sustainably. Chapter 13. Your own version of success. It's not what they told you. Let's start with a big, bold truth. You get to define what success means to you, and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Morra invites us to completely rethink the hustle and grind narrative that dominates modern ambition for introverts, especially those who deal with anxiety or depression. Chasing someone else's version of success is not just exhausting, it's soul-killing. Instead, she walks us through how to build a personal definition of success that feels calm, meaningful, sustainable, joyful. She asks, what are your non-negotiables? What does enough look like to you? Who are you trying to impress and why? Morra is brutally honest here. She wanted fame, impact, and money, but not at the cost of her health or her family. She learned to focus on depth over breadth, impact over attention, and satisfaction over status. It's not about hiding from success. It's about building your own custom-fit version. Chapter 14. Money, Meaning, and Making It Work. Money. One of the hardest conversations for introverts and heart-led creatives. Morra doesn't dodge it. In fact, she leans in hard because she knows too many people, especially women, introverts, and creatives, undervalue their work. She drops this gem. Money is energy. If you don't value your energy, no one else will. This chapter teaches you how to set your rates or salary goals with confidence. Say no to underpaid, energy-draining gigs. Think like a CEO. Even if you're a solopreneur or freelancer, build a business or career that respects your bandwidth. And it's not all about earning more. It's also about spending smarter. She talks about budgeting for comfort and calm, therapy, childcare, better software, fewer hours, investing in peace, not just profits. This is the ultimate reminder that you can build a profitable, meaningful career without selling your soul or sacrificing your sanity. Chapter 15. Staying Visible, Staying Sane. Morra knows visibility is important, especially in a digital world, but she also knows that staying visible 24/7 is a one-way ticket to burnout, so she introduces what she calls strategic invisibility. You don't have to show up everywhere. You don't need to be everything to everyone. You just need to show up where it matters. Consistently and authentically, she offers a low-stress visibility plan. Pick 1 to 2 platforms max. Tips for setting social media boundaries. How to prep for interviews, panels, and launches without spiraling. The value of delegation and automation when you can afford it. Here's the golden line. You can be visible enough to succeed without being everywhere all the time. She encourages introverts to find their own rhythm of showing up and to protect their energy the way others protect their money. Chapter 16. Hiding in the bathroom without shame. We end right where we started. In the bathroom, but this time, it's not about hiding out of fear. It's about retreating with power and intention. Morra reframes hiding not as weakness, but as a vital form of self-care. She reminds us, rest is part of success. Retreat is a strategy. Slowing down is not giving up. She shares that she still hides in the bathroom sometimes, before big meetings, after tough interviews, when she feels overwhelmed, but now, she does it without shame. She knows she'll return more centered, more focused, and more herself. The final takeaway: you don't have to fix who you are to succeed. You just have to understand yourself and build your work and life around your truth. Closing thoughts. So here's the message Morra leaves us with. You don't have to fake extroversion to succeed. You don't have to burn out to belong. You don't have to play big to make a big impact. You can thrive by being exactly who you are: quiet, thoughtful, strategic, and yes, someone who sometimes hides in the bathroom to recharge. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz reviews and summaries.